I know everybody already talked about this movie already, but here I am, late to the party, as usual. Today we're talking about a movie that should have came out 10 or 15 years ago. It's one of those futuristic dystopian young adult movies that was super popular in the early 2000s, most of which were based off of novels. When I saw this movie on Netflix, I instantly thought of Divergent. Let's just be honest, that's what everybody thought. Unless you've read the book and you're familiar with the story, you probably thought of Divergent. I mean, just look at that poster. It screams Divergent. I don't think this movie would have been popular back then either. It would have been more popular, but I don't know, I'm not convinced it would have blown up back then. Even if it did come out in theaters and it wasn't released on Netflix, Joey King just doesn't have that star power behind her, I don't think. The book it's based on came out in 2005. I haven't read it myself. In the very beginning of the movie, Joey King is reading some narration, and she says, "My story today begins in the past." Well, duh. If there's a narration in the beginning of the movie, then, I mean, odds are you're talking from the future. And you're like about to explain something that had happened already. Like, what the hell? I can't think of a single movie where the narration is starting at present, you know, and they're narrating as they go. I'm sure a movie like that exists, but typically that's not how it's done. So it's just silly that that's a line. You know that phrase, "I'm 14 and this is deep"? Well, that's this movie in a nutshell. You're more than just your appearance. Beauty is only skin deep. Did you know that? Well, this movie's gonna hammer that home. This world would have less conflict. People would get along if everybody was pretty, like the exact level of prettiness. If everybody was like an 8 out of 10 or higher, uniformity is the answer to eternal peace. If everybody was a hottie and not a naughty, then the world would be perfect. I also want to mention that there's a character named Sussy in this movie. I wonder if their last name is Baka.
Oh, bro. I saw that you wanted. Don't lie to me, Walt. You sussy baka.
I'm sorry. You know what's not ugly? You. That's right. You're looking great today. So you know what would be extremely unfortunate? If you weren't protected online. I love your dimples, by the way. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. With NordVPN, you don't get the regular old virtual private network. Instead, you get the benefits you'd expect, like browsing the web and watching content untethered by region-based restrictions. So you're free to enjoy the series that your friends overseas are watching that you didn't have access to, until Nord swooped down and saved the day. Nord also keeps your IP address safe from the nefarious, ugly hackers all over the internet. Nord is the world's fastest VPN, and they're here to protect you with their Threat Protection Pro technology. Whether you're downloading a potentially risky file, Nord has your back. Or if you're clicking on a potentially risky link, Nord is there to protect you from malware or anything else malicious online. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal, plus 4 months extra by using my link at the top of the description. Try it out risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you so much to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Now back to the review. This movie is a CGI mess. It looks like shit. I'm convinced that this movie popped out of like a time portal and we were supposed to get it back in like 2010 or something. Something wrong happened in the timeline, so now here it is, plopped out 14 years later. Like, the CGI in this movie would have been great back then. It was directed by Mick G, the director with the weirdest name ever, Mick G. This movie's coming to you hot from the director of the Babysitter movies, Tall Girl, Tall Girl 2. Let's be honest with ourselves. This guy peaked when he directed the music video for Smash Mouth's All-Star. He directed a shit ton of music videos, by the way. You probably have seen a bunch of these without realizing that it was him. He also directed that Terminator movie that nobody remembers. This movie stars Joey King, and she plays a girl named Tally. She exists in a dystopia where every person undergoes an operation to become a pretty. This operation is done when you turn 16, and everybody that hasn't gone through it yet are dubbed uglies. So all the young people in this world are ugly, I guess. And when I say ugly, it just means that they're normal people. People who haven't had the operation are uglies, and the people who have had it done are the pretties. And basically this operation makes you prettier and makes you more symmetrical. It irons out your flaws or the things that make you unique. You can request to have certain things done to your appearance, I guess, because Tally asks for golden eyes at one point. Like, what if I was in my goth era and I wanted full black eyes, you know? Would they honor my request? Also, everybody has this done at the age of 16. Like, everyone? That's a lot of operations in a single day. Well, I'm assuming they had them come in batches, you know? So I could be like 16 and a half, just waiting for my turn to have the operation done, unless they have like a million of these machines sitting around for people to... I'm thinking too much about this. Again, I tend to do that, don't I? So let's talk a little bit more about McDonald's movie. I wonder if anybody calls McG McDonald's. Someone must have done that before, right? Cool, another McDonald's Happy Meal. So we get to see Tally's pretty version, which is basically her with a filter on. Like, it's literally just her with makeup, a different nose, and contacts. That's it. Tally has a friend named Paris, but his nickname is Nose, because he's got a fucked up nose. Because the Uggos in this universe really love to give themselves nicknames based on their ugliest trait.
You'll certainly be prettier without those squinty eyes.
Nose and squint. I like it.
So for example, they would probably call Boogie 298 Moobs. So Dr. Disrespect would be nicknamed Whisper, and Logan Paul would be nicknamed Zoo. Tally's nickname is Squint because she has squinty eyes or something, and that's ugly. I guess. Paris is played by Chase Stokes, and they gave him a fake nose to make him uglier, I suppose. But they left Joey King's ugly version the same. Like, Chase was too hot. We had to change him a little bit, but Joey, we can keep her as she is. Honestly, I think Joey King is also naturally pretty, so it's kind of strange when they're putting these obviously attractive people into these roles. Like, these are the uglies? Then who are the pretties?
Cuckoo.
And it just gets more ridiculous as the movie goes on. If it wasn't obvious already, in this movie there are groups with labels. There are the pretties that exist across a bridge from the uglies. And in Pretty Town, it's always great. There's constant fireworks, there's music and lights. It's a party over here, dude. What aren't you doing over here? How fun is it over here, man? Like, This feels to me like what every teenager thinks adult life will feel like when they're finally done with school. Sorry to break it to you kids, work is endless. This is it. Also, what about the people who are already like a 10 out of 10 on the hot scale? Like, do the uglies have a completely warped version of what pretty is just because the pretties exist? Like, the people on the ugly side, do they view everybody there as ugly because they haven't had the operation done? Like, surely there would still be a range of attractiveness over there, right? Like, out of all the uglies, there would be like the hot uglies and the, you know, the not so hot uglies. Like, would Ana de Armas just not have to go through this procedure at all? She could just go straight over there? Like, they couldn't look at her and say, yeah, some work needs to be done. There's also the Rusties, who are basically the people from the past that messed everything up. They're the boomers, okay? We don't have to talk about them. They don't matter. They made the world shit and we have to deal with it. It sucks. It is what it is. And then there's the Smoke and the Smokies, which are basically people who live off grid. They have their own little society. They don't mess with the pretties and all that nonsense. They're kind of like the Amish. They're just over here doing their own thing, living their lives. Every once in a while, they'll be like, hey, uglies, come on over. Our life is better. So Tally's best friend, Paris, is chosen to become a pretty. It's his 16th birthday. He doesn't look 16 at all.
Old man!
He's like The Rock. Look at The Rock at 16. Hey, it's possible. I love how Tally has him in her phone as Nose. Without any context, I died laughing when I saw her phone open with that name. It's like having a best friend who's like 300 pounds and then putting them in your phone as obese. Also, what if there's multiple people with messed up noses? There's gotta be, right? How come he gets the nickname Nose? What if other people wanted it? Or maybe there's like a bunch of noses walking around. There's a bunch of cheeks walking around, a bunch of foreheads, a bunch of baldies. Also, apparently in this future, you take a pill to brush your teeth. How does that work? So Tally waits around for a while. I guess Nose was Tally's only friend, like literally her only friend, because she just sits around and does nothing when he's gone. She's super depressed. She waits around for their reunion that they promise each other. The day comes and she waits under the bridge for him and he doesn't show. Oh my God, the betrayal. So she's like, what the hell, dude? Where is he? She's like, fuck this. I'm going over to the pretty side. I'm looking for him. Where is he? He said he would be here. So she sneaks over to the pretty part of the city. She disguises herself with a pig mask that changes her hair and clothing, I guess. I love that it's a pig mask. Is the movie trying to tell us something? Like, oh, this is the ugly one in the crowd. She's the piggy. She eventually runs into Nose, and he's pretty now, but he just looks like a freak.
What the fuck is that?
He's uglier than before, honestly. He's like glowing and his eyes are gold. Sure, he got a nose job. And surprise, surprise, he doesn't give a shit about her anymore.
Best friends forever.
Maybe we will be. In what, 2 months?
What did he say?
They gave themselves cuts on their hands so they would never forget each other or something. And Nose got the scar removed off of his hand. Like, fuck you, bitch, I don't even know you anymore. Who are you? Tally who? When he saw her, he should have been like this. Who is that? Huh? You know, like squinting at her because she's the squinter, I guess. Her face is scanned, and oh my God, the ugly police are summoned to chase out the ugly girl. Back to your pig pen until the surgery. Back to Ugly Town with you. Go join your little ugly friends, your ugly town. Ooh, boo, boo. So to escape the ugly police, she jumps from atop the building with a bouncy vest so she doesn't take fall damage. What is this, Fortnite? Like, come on, her legs or ankles would be busted if she did this. And then Silver Surfer, in the form of this random girl, comes out of nowhere and saves her from being found by the wardens. The wardens look like they're straight out of Tron. This new girl is named Shay, but her nickname is Skinny because she's the skinny girl. It's so dumb. Wouldn't there be like 100 other skinnies then? Of course this girl's like a literal model. Like, come on. They couldn't find anybody uglier. Also, these girls just happen to have the same birthday, so that's convenient. They're very much looking forward to their 16th so they can get their transformation. Tally learns how to ride these hoverboards like a pro in what feels like 1 day. If a lot of time went by, it didn't feel that way. And isn't her birthday very soon? She wouldn't have that much time to practice. So I guess she's just a natural. Either that or these things are very easy to learn. Skinny is an epic pro air surfer who doesn't believe in the surgery. And she wants to join this different community in the smoke. The Smokies, or the Normies, I guess. But Tally is dead set on getting her surgery. She needs to join the pretties. It was so cool over there. There are so many lights. All they do is party. So after becoming best friends, Skinny is like, all right, see ya, bye. And she leaves to join the smoke. And Tally's like, yo, what the hell? Why is everybody that I like leaving me? But before leaving her, Shay gives her a map or directions that only she can read. Tally's about to get the surgery. Everybody leaves the room except for her. This man approaches her and he's like,
Tally Youngblood. Tally Youngblood.
He uses the goofiest low voice ever. Also, Tally Youngblood. It's the most young adult novel name I've ever heard. She's brought to Dr. Cable's office, who is played by Laverne Cox. She's questioned by Dr. Cable, and she's given the mission to find Shay and bring her back. Because the people that she went to meet are very evil. They have a weapon in their possession that will destroy civilization as we know it. So they need this random girl Tally to go out there and save the day. Tally's like, can I think about it? And they're like, yeah, sure. But you don't get to have your surgery until you make a decision. Nose suddenly shows up outside of Tally's window, and it's so obvious that he was sent there at Dr. Cable's behest. He's there to convince Tally to go on this mission to bring back Shay and report back about this weapon or whatever. I guess Tally is just convinced that Nose did a complete 180 out of nowhere. It was clear as day that this guy didn't give a fuck about her anymore, but all of a sudden he does now. Makes sense to me. Tally isn't just naive in this movie, she has the brain of a brick. So Tally goes on this mission to find the smoke, bring back Shay, and report back on this weapon. There's a part when she's climbing up the side of a mountain, and it's like completely flat. And I mean flat, like how the hell is she climbing that? How many rock climbing classes did she take back at Uggo school? How is she all of a sudden so athletic? And she drops her bag while climbing, so I guess it's gone forever now. Not only is she an expert at rock climbing, she's also Tony Hawk for some reason. Yeah, she skates around with this hoverboard like she's been practicing for 30 years. And she has some insane close calls too. It's a miracle she hasn't died yet. She literally wakes up in the middle of a forest fire. One of the Smokies is named David. Shay had told Tally about him earlier, and Dr. Cable warned Tally about him. But yeah, this David guy saves Tally. I wonder who will end up becoming the love interest for Tally.
David.
And of course, all of these Smokies are literal models. Where are all the ugly people in the UGLIES movie? They just don't exist. Later in the movie, Shay falls from a helicopter into a forest fire. So she's dead then, I guess. Nope, no broken limbs, nothing. Tally jumps down and saves her, no big deal. She's good, she's fine. She must have had one of those Fortnite devices on her wrist or something. She just has a little cough from the smoke.
I'm sick.
So Tally meets the hippies of the smoke who have all decided. Phone bad, screen bad, farming good, surgery not good, living off the land fabulous, mirrors no thanks, being true to yourself love it. They love being ugly here when there's nobody ugly here. David gives a speech about how soulless technology and big corporations are, how staying true to yourself and accepting yourself has been replaced with wishing you were perfect. Tally starts to fit in with the hippies, and she forms a bond with David. Obviously, somehow dumbass Tally still believes that these hippies have a weapon of mass destruction hidden somewhere. Turns out, instead, they're actually just concocting a cure to Pretty Brain. Yeah, so when you undergo this surgery, they also alter your brain chemistry. So you don't think for yourself, you're just one of the sheep. There's uniformity across the board. Nobody's combative or jealous or hateful, just mindless drones. But at least they're hot. So then the pretties show up and cause mayhem in hippie land. I gotta be honest, during the final act of this movie, I was phasing out, man. I did not care at all. This was me.
Where is your son?
Shay learns that Tally is the reason that they found their base, because Tally had this tracking thing in her necklace or something, provided to her by Dr. Cable.
Your mother is being taken to a building I've been inside of.
Tally and David escape and infiltrate the pretty's base and find that Shay has been turned into a pretty against her will. It's pretty fucked up, honestly. She's a completely different person now. It's kind of horrific. They try to turn the hippies into pretties, but they're saved by a flamethrower mounted on a chopper. They blast the flames through the glass and start burning everything in the room. Kind of a hazardous way to save your friends, I think. It kind of looks like Dr. Cable allows herself to get torched, which is weird. But then we see her again later, and she has a tiny burn mark on her face. Also, Nose turns into Terminator because they put him through another operation that turns him into a special.
I'm special!
It's kind of like the Matrix. You just gotta download Kung Fu into your brain, then all of a sudden you're Kung Fu Panda. Of course, at the very last second, a fragment of Nose from before remembers Tally, and he's like, squint, before he falls to his death. I felt nothing when this happened. So they aren't sure if this cure will work for Pretty Brain, so they need someone as a guinea pig. And instead of using the obvious person, which is Shay, Tally's like, I'll do it. I'll become a pretty so you can use it on me. So she gives herself up. Makes a lot of sense. What? So she screams, I'm Tally Youngblood, make me pretty, at the hyper-futuristic ship shining a light on her. It's so corny. They don't want to use the pretty cure on Shay because she's unwilling.
Honey, we are not gonna perform medical experiments on an unwilling subject.
Well, obviously she's unwilling. Her brain has been altered. If she were actually Shay, instead of this weird pretty abomination, I think it's pretty fair to assume she would want to be changed back to how she was before. But no, that's going too far. So Tally volunteers to undergo the surgery because she's confident that she will not let being pretty change her whatsoever, when it literally will. Like, it will.
Maddie, please. Shay can't choose anymore, but I can.
Bitch, what?
So I'm not sure how this plan is gonna work. And she gives herself up to them, which means they would have to rescue her and then administer the cure to her. And her mind will be altered the same way as Shay's. And she won't want the cure. But at the end of the movie, when we see Tally again, she still has her scar. So this means she didn't let the surgery alter her brain. Somehow. What? We get to see her pretty version at the end, and she looks practically the same, except she has contacts in, makeup on, and a different nose. And her eyes are squintier than they were before. I love how this movie's theme boils down to concentrate on what truly matters. Don't worry about surface level things like your appearance, and be true to yourself. Accept yourself for who you are. When literally every character in this movie is a supermodel, it doesn't really hit the same. You know what I mean? If you like this creepy shirt, you can get it at alienclothing.com. Look at it, baby. Check out our new Alien Clothing Colorful Monsters collection for spooky season. New original cosmic horror designs inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, along with quotes from his stories like, "The most merciful thing in the world is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents." They're all designed by my good friend Brandon Lapine, and I love them so much. They're so creepy and weird. There's really nothing out there like this right now. You know how hard it is to find original weird-ass monster designs on tees nowadays? Well, your boy's filling that market. So yeah, go to alienclothing.com, AYYLIEN clothing.com, and get one before they're gone. Thank you so much to all my patrons that make videos like this possible, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.